All right, jumping back in with chapter 6 with this blasting in the background. All right, here we go, boys. Yo, all right. Chapter 6. All right, Baron thought aloud. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13 Santa symbols on the map. Fart, yeah, Grindex whispered because he understood the pump in that number. Dweem wished it were fewer because he was already getting tired. Which one should we start with? Baron asked as he dropped the map from his peepers to get a better understanding of his surroundings. The fountain's ice water had turned from red and green to mostly just red, making it super ominous. Christmas tree ornaments the size of blue ribbon mutant pumpkins chilled in every alcove, where pink and green incandescent lights reflected jack-o'-lantern-esque eyes and rictuses across their bulbous glass bodies. Above them, snowmen with melty, dreadful faces lined the sidewalks, and the once innocuous gingerbread facades of candy shops and storytime villas had perverted their shapes into looming, albeit still mostly gingerbread, haunted houses. Let's see. Even the Eiffel Tower had transformed into a baller beyond belief factor fiction ice tower, which rose 25 stories high and glowed such an intensely deep cobalt blue that it maybe looked sweeter than blacklight. Damn, Baron whispered in total awe. I had no idea Christmas could be this badass. And just think, Grindex whispered back, if you're this pumped about it now, imagine how nuts it'll look if you get your wish and see it at max pump. How? Baron stammered. How did you figure out my one true Christmas wish? Let's just say it was child molesters. I don't follow. Remember that fake Santa was talking about how CM stood for Christmas magic and not child molesters or something? What was his name? Butt Breath Island Man? Oh yeah, Deece callback. Sorry, seems like a lot of shit has happened since we got here, but also like friggin' nothing has happened. Makes it hard to keep track. So, wait, Dad, Dweem interjected. Your wish is to be at maximum pump? Yeah, Mang, what'd you expect? I thought we were both trying to get you and Mom back together. Hell no, I'm trying to get my pump up. And let's just say your mother hasn't been good at getting... Hell no, I'm trying to get my pump up. And let's just say your mother hasn't been good at getting... Alright. Good at getting anything. But let's just say you're good at getting... Hell no, I'm trying to get my pump up. And let's just say your mother hasn't been good at getting anything up for years. Baron and Grindex took turns doing Rodney Dangerfield haze and hose, to the delight of a passing abominable... Struggling tonight. Baron and Grindex took turns doing Rodney Dangerfield haze and hose, to the delight of a passing abominable snowman monster. But aren't you already at max pump? Dweem pressed, ignoring Baron's insult about his mom mostly because he didn't understand it. I mean, isn't this the best time of your life, now that we're hanging out? Baron cracked up so hard that the abominable snow monster... Oh my fuck. Baron cracked up so hard that the abominable snowman monster stopped in his tracks and looked back. The dude seemed to be having a really good time, so for a moment he thought about busting over to see if he could hang out with them. But then he worried that he may bring the party down since he wasn't great at small talk, so he sadly plodded away. No friggin' way, Dweem, Baron said after catching his breath. You're okay and all, but I was definitely most pumped when I was a kid. Now, shit sucks/hurts all the time. Oh, true, Grindex echoed. Oh, Dweem said sadly. He looked at the ground and stuck his hands in his pockets. He began to fiddle with the elf's tooth. Baron patted his fat son's fat shoulder with his tough dad hand/callous sausage fingers. Look, homie, it's super obvious that the real Santa is in that final boss ice tower. So let's do something fun before we go see him. Check out that haunted house over there. Dweem turned to see a 2-story Victorian house facade a few feet down the sidewalk. Above the porch hung a hand-painted sign that read in blood-colored font with a green slime outline. The Nightmare Actually on Christmas. Really? Dweem asked hopefully. You want to hang out with me rather than do errands? Big time, Baron replied. He mostly wanted to hit up the haunted house himself, but if that meant some collateral pump for his son, he was all for it. The trio busted over to the entrance, where a lantern flickered the perfect color of jack-o'-lite above a chubby chick wearing ghoul makeup and an all-black coat. Oop, coke. The trio busted over to the entrance, where a lantern flickered the perfect color of jack-o'-lite above a chubby chick wearing ghoul makeup and an all-black cloak. "Welcome to your doom, mortals," she called as they approached. "Oh my fuck, this is already perfect," Baron muttered. "No photos or video recordings are allowed, and the nightmare actually on Christmas." "Yes," Baron moaned. He inhaled the fog seeping from inside the haunt and immediately popped a bone. "Do not touch the monsters, and they will not touch you," the ghoul continued. Grindex popped pink thing. "Now, enter if you dare," she said as she pulled aside the heavy tarp that served as the front door. "For all that you fear is here." Baron's pumped divining rod led the way into the haunted house. The first room was set up like an antechamber. Classic, spooky wallpaper lined the walls, and an ornate chandelier glowed from the ceiling. In the corner, a dry, skeletal Christmas tree posed an imminent fire threat. Next to it stood a chubby dude wearing ghoul makeup and an all-black cloak. How's this old boy talk? "Welcome to your doom, mortals," he said while waving a white glove in front of his face. "You picked a terrible night to join us, or perhaps a perfect one. It is December 25th, and I am Sapolo, your ghoul guide. Now please, make haste. No cell phones or flashlights, and follow me. If you dare!" The ghoul parted another heavy tarp and entered a dark corridor. Dweem wondered who would bring a full flashlight into a haunted house, and then he got nervous dump feeling for not thinking to do so. Himself. "On this night," Sapolo continued, "many spirits are said to dwell. On this night," Sapolo continued, "many spirits are said to roam these hallowed haunted halls. Can you see them? I assure you, friendos, they can see you." He led the dudes down a narrow hallway lined with sconces and paintings of lenticular portraits, whose eyes were supposed to follow you. He led the dudes down a narrow hallway lined with sconces and paintings of lenticular portraits, whose eyes were supposed to follow you, but some of them were broken so they didn't follow you at all, and a few were half broken so only one eye followed you. The ghoul guide eventually reached a pair of olive green curtains and stopped. "Now I must leave you," he said worriedly, "for the next room is far too terrifying, even for a seasonal spook such as myself." He turned and exited through a hidden door in the wall. Baron scrambled to find the hidden door opening so he could live in the haunt forever, or at least for however long it takes before you starve to death. But Dweem had been walking with his eyes slammed shut, so he pushed his dad and uncle right through the curtains. But Dweem had been walking with his eyes slammed shut, so he pushed his dad and uncle through the curtains like a gelatinous freight train. The three dudes crashed to the ground and looked up apprehensively, bracing themselves for whatever horrors were promised by Sapolo. In an otherwise bare room, a 6-foot-tall gingerbread man wearing a Santa hat stood in the middle of a clawfoot tub. "Boo!" Oh wait, how's this old boy talk? Maybe just fucking British. Oi, mate, it's a fucking something. "Boo!" he yelled. "You should have never come into my house on this Christmas nightmare." Baron's bone deflated to half-mast, but the clawfoot tub and maybe like the goose. Prepare to be scared, but not too scared. So prepare to be scared, but not too scared. "Boo!" he yelled. "You should have never come into my house on this Christmas nightmare." Baron's bone deflated to half-mast, but the clawfoot tub and bad pun kept things going. He stared at the gingerbread man, who after a few awkward seconds nodded his head behind him to a door with a glowing exit sign above it. Please exit to your left." I can't get this fucking voice down. Let's see. Please exit, ready to be scared, but not too scared. Please exit to the left, your right. I know. I wish it were longer, believe me. It's better to be like kind of baby with it, I think. Boo! He yelled. You should have never come into my house on this Christmas nightmare. Baron's bone deflated to half-mast, but the clawfoot tub and bad pun kept things going. He stared at the gingerbread man, who after a few awkward seconds nodded his head behind him to a door with a glowing exit sign above it. Please exit to you... please exit to the left, he said nervously. Sorry, my left. You're right. You gotta be fucking kidding me, Baron gasped. That's the entire haunt? Yeah, that was awful, Dweem said, even though he was relieved it was over. I know, the cookie creature said sadly. He relaxed his posture and sat on the lip of the tub. I wish it were longer, believe me. But we have to keep the haunted houses super short so we can have more of them. It's a finance, it's really a marketing thing. More like a bait and switch thing, Baron said incredulously. More like a bait and switch thing, Baron said incredulously. A bullshit and switch thing, actually. Oh yeah, a bullshit and switch thing, Ashley. I know, the gingerbread man repeated with a sigh. His posture melted even more, morphing him into the shape of a clinically depressed sea. My name isn't Ashley, by the way. It's Stomphy. I mean, you can call me Ashley if you want. I probably deserve it. I'm super tempted, Baron said. But since you feel bad about everything and claim it's not your fault, we'll agree to call you Stompy. That's fine, too. Stompy and the crew stared at each other. So, if y'all want to chill here for a while, I have a baguette here. You're welcome to it. The gingerbread man pulled a loaf of bread out of the tub and extended it. Dweem started moving toward it, but Baron grabbed him by the collar. Wait a minute, Stompy, he said. Isn't there supposed to be a Santa in this haunt? There was a Santa icon over it on the map. Yep, Stompy replied with a pained smile. He directed his eyes upward. I mean, I do have the hat. Oh my fuck, Baron growled. But you don't have the magic, right? Because you're a little gingerbread liar, baby? That would be correct. And let me take another wild guess. The real Santa, the one with the magical powers to grant wishes, is in the one place that isn't a shitty warehouse with a particle board facade. Baron pulled out the map and pointed to the ice tower smack dab in the middle. I'm actually not allowed to say, Stompy said sadly. I'll get shit-canned. Why would you care if you aren't even pumped about your haunt? I don't know. Because it's enough? Obviously, I'd rather be in a bigger/spookier haunt. I want my entire universe to be like that. I care about haunts in a way that I don't care about anything else. Even buttered popcorn Mike and Ike's. Do you, ever read about ontology? Nah, Baron replied. Yes, grinned X-Slide. No, sir, Dweem replied anxiously because he was still scared of what was technically a haunted house monster. Dang, the gingerbread man sighed. Well, do you at least understand that reality is, subjective? Everyone remained silent because no one knew what subjective meant. What is reality for one gingerbread person, or whatever y'all are, is different for another. It's based on our upbringings, our experiences, cultures, otherwise belief systems. I'm sorry if those are too redundant or reductive, but we all have our own perception, and consequently, our own version of reality. Baron was getting sleepy/bored, but he felt bad for this dude, so he chilled for a bit longer. And our own version of an ideal reality, the monster continued. Baron's pump peaked. Do you ever fuck with Plato? Are you sure you don't want any of this baguette? Anyway, my ideal reality is this. I want my haunted house to be infinite. I want it to be an infinite version of the ones I used to go to when I was a kid. But if it were infinite, it would have to be beyond that. Beyond what I've experienced and come to call a haunt, and infinitely so. See, that's the problem. The physical world, this park, is a shadowy reflection of that ideal reality. My ideal reality cannot exist. So, this one has to be enough. What else can I do? Become a fucking gingerbread accountant? Baron nodded politely. Damn, this is a pretty tortured gingerbread monster, he thought. But that was also a stupid long way of saying I scraped the goodie off. Why don't you just ask Santa for your ideal optometry? Grindex asked. Nepotism. Why don't you ask him for your ideal nepotism? Cute, Stompy said sadly. He sank into his tub and chomped down on his baguette. Anyway, I think I want to be alone for a while. Y'all can go back through the portrait hallway if you'd like, or chill with Sapalo up front. Fort yeah, Baron replied. I'm always down for portrait hallway / Sapalo chillin'. Grindex? FY, Grindex replied, which means fart yeah. Dweem? Oh, the little bosom baby who was with you, Stompy said with a mouthful of bread. That dude left like 10 minutes ago. Hope he's okay. Shit gets crazy out there. That's why I live here. A bathtub might not be the first place you'd expect to find a gingerbread man, but... Baron and Grindex didn't hear the rest of the long-winded, spicy-scented explanation because they were already out the door and searching for Dweem in the veritable blizzard of at least 12 more Christmas creeps. All right, that'll have to do. Thank you. All right. Chapter 7. Dweem! Baron called while pushing past flurries of elf monsters, pine tree monsters, eggnog monsters, popcorn tin monsters, and oranges with cloves stuck in them monsters. Little bosom baby! Grindex called while being dragged past those same monsters because he was slung across Baron's back. Yo, Pops! Uncle G! Over here! An obese voice echoed from the distance. Uncle G, I don't like that. It makes me sound like a douche who wants to be called that, Grindex said as Baron ran with him over to the sound of the chubby cry. Oops, let me move this bad boy. It came from the ice tower. Well, not so much from the ice tower as a mile away from it, where Dweem stood at the end of a mile-long line. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, and why did you just leave like that? Baron demanded when he caught up to Dweem. Are you trying to get touched by a stranger? Nah, Dad, Dweem responded. But once the gingerbread man said he wasn't the real Santa, and then when he started talking about all that boring stuff, I ran out here to wait in line so we could see the big guy sooner. Baron thought. Okay, you're definitely not grounded, but you were still dangerously close to being touched. Look at that taffy fuck over there in the bushes. Dweem turned his head and saw a pink-striped anthropomorphic taffy monster writhing in the nearby foliage. When their eyes met, the monster's eyes narrowed and the writhing intensified. See? It's friggin' Perv City out here. But thanks for waiting in line. You're not the worst son ever. Thanks, Pops, Dweem said with a smile. So, are you pumped to meet the big guy? Do you stop calling him that? Baron snapped. It's weird enough that we're all like 80 years old and waiting to meet Santa. He doesn't need a baby-ass nickname on top of it. Don't call me Uncle G, Grindex added. Jeez, okay, sorry, Dweem said solemnly. This is already taking for fuck ever, Baron growled. Don't they have some kind of fast pass or something to let us skip the line? This is the fast pass line, Dweem said as his eyes lit up. It was $200 each, but it's okay because it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, Dad. Merry Christmas, Uncle Grindax. Dweem extended his chubby little paws. In each one he held a holographic green pass. In each one he held a holographic green pass with Christmas Kingdom line cutters emblazoned in pink letters on the front. Baron snatched both of them and grimaced. "Oh, fucking weak!" he shouted. "This is the Fast Pass line and it's still infinity long? And again with the triple fucking Ks? Should we even be here? Is Santa gonna have a fucking hood over his head? Fart, this place sucks!" Sorry, Dweem repeated. His head began to feel really hot, and he nervously curled and uncurled his toes in his shoes. Baron saw the effects of the toxic anti-pump he was spraying, and he immediately felt guilty. "No, son, I'm sorry," he said while patting Dweem's gelled-down bowl cut. "I'm being a big douche. This gift rules, and this place should rule, but it's not your fault that it doesn't." "And I'm sorry I said not to call me Uncle G," Grindex said while extending a razor wire. Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong chair. Oh, well. "And I'm sorry I said not to call me Uncle G," Grindex said while extending a razor wire string and patting Dweem on the bowl cut, which cut it into a gelled down middle part. "I honestly loved the name right from the start, but I didn't know if other people / guitars would think it was cool, so I told you to fuck off just to be safe." You didn't actually tell me to fuck off, did you?" Dweem asked worriedly. Shh, baby. Shush, baby," Grindex said while moving his low E string over Dweem's bottom lip and cutting it into a middle part. "Yeah, everyone silence immediately," Baron said. He realized that while they were hashing out their bullshit, the line had moved all the way to the entrance of the ice tower. "We're almost in." The trio passed under a giant cobalt stone archway and prepared to enter the Christmassy keep. But instead they turned a corner and found themselves in an even longer line. Infinity people snaked through a hedge maze. Downstairs into what looked like a dungeon filled with bubbly / perverse marshmallow monsters, up a spiral staircase wrapped around a spire, which have surprisingly different etymologies, across a bridge, over a rampart, and down another spiral staircase. Baron shot his eyes to the 25th floor of the tower, and finally saw where the little buckets were to put your sunglasses / hats so they don't fly off when you meet Santa. "Fuck fart this!" Baron yelled. He dropped his voice to a scheming whisper. "Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We'll tell the workers that Dweem is all fucked up and see if they let us skip the line. Dweem, just be yourself and otherwise keep rocking that gel middle part and bloody lip. We'll be fine." The trio pushed past a metric max debillion of people until they reached the top of the tip of the tower. "Excuse us," Baron said to a ripped elf monster security guard who stood 12 feet high and who had... it should be that, but... "Excuse us," Baron said to a ripped elf "Excuse us," Baron said to a ripped elf monster security guard who stood 12 feet high and had a 24-pack. Beyond the guard, Baron could see a fat dude in a Santa suit king-chilling on an ice throne. A little baby sat on his lap and king-cheesed, while babe elves wearing lederhosen with the suspender buttons positioned right over their nipples took pictures. Behind them, a gigantic glockenspiel blasted covers of Christmas tunes, and an army of plump grandmas buzzed around the room and made sure everyone was stuffing their face cheeks. Behind them, a gigantic glockenspiel blasted covers of Christmas tunes, and an army of... This is going to be such a bitch to edit. Behind them, a gigantic glockenspiel blasted covers of Christmas tunes, and an army of plump grandmas buzzed around the room and made sure everyone was stuffing their face cheeks with cookies or cheese at all times. "Excuse you was right. The line is back there," the elf guard boomed as he gestured miles into the distance. "I meant excuse us because my son is all fucked up," Baron pressed. "So we need to see Santa immediately. Look at this friggin' guy. He's a mess." "Hi, how are ya?" Dweem asked. As he spoke, his blood-crusted lips unintentionally blew a humongous bubble that popped and sent crimson... As he spoke, his blood-crusted lips unintentionally blew a humongous bubble that popped and sent crimson spit. As As he spoke, his blood-crusted lips unintentionally blew a humongous bubble that popped and sent crimson spit shotgunning onto the elf guard's costume. "Ooh, fucking nasty ass!" the towering guard yelled. Oh my gosh. The towering tower guard yelled. "Oh, what, my son disgusts you?" Baron gasped in his best affronted mom voice. "I heard it all," Grindex yelled. "He said Dweem was nasty. Then he said something about fucking his ass. It's friggin' lawsuit time. This entire place is gonna be shut down, and you're going to prison for life." No, that's not what I said," the guard pleaded while wiping bloody saliva across his holly green jumper, which made it look even more Christmassy. "I heard it too," a mom with a fanny pack yelled from behind Grindex. Oh shit, from behind the Grindex. "He definitely said something about fucking children. Then he pointed at my little shit Jimmy and made a kissy face. Lawsuit time! We're driving out of here in a platinum gold car." "What? No, I didn't. There's no such thing as platinum gold," the elf stammered. "Oh, what's up, Nazi?" a dad wearing a hat with ear flaps yelled from further back in line. "Now you got something against Latin old people?" "No, please just listen," the guard tried. "Well, guess what, asshole?" the dad continued. "My father was a Latin old person, and he died fighting you Nazi scumbags in Vietnam." "I've heard enough," the mom yelled. Even though she didn't know the dad, she thought he was kind of cute. So she rushed the elf and stepped right on the monster's curly-toed shoes in an attempt to impress him. "Look at this guy, he's got curly-toed shoes," she yelled as the elf buckled from the foot stomp and landed right into a mom fist-sized uppercut. "Yeah, what a fucking freak!" the dad shouted in glee. "Let's push him over the side! Kill him!" "Kill! Kill! Kill!" they both began to chant. The rest of the line joined in not only the chant, but the attack. All of their eyes widened so you could see the white above their irises, which is never a good sign, and they set upon the weeping elf guard, kicking, punching, biting, and filming him until he lost consciousness. Kicking, punching, biting, and filming him until he lost consciousness. The crowd lifted the elf and threw him over the lip of the stone wall, sending him plummeting 25 stories to the ground where he crashed. Oh my fuck. This chair, man. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, it's so much better. Check. Check. Need to go lower. Check. Right. The crowd lifted the elf and threw him over the lip of the stone wall, sending him plummeting 25 stories to the ground where he crashed through a Sub-Zero Shards ice cream cart and was impaled by literally hundos of the flash-frozen confection particles. As the ice cream melted into his veins and vital organs, the cold shocked him back to consciousness long enough to look up at the faces of his murderers, their faces nebulous, except for the gleaming white of their eyes. He reached into his corduroy pants and pulled out a small remote. With his last bit of thumb strength, he pressed a shiny red button and prayed that his god would accept him into the kingdom of misfit security guards. As Baron Grindex and Dweem turned from the violent scene and made their way toward the glowing warmth of Santa's throne room, a metal door slammed in their faces and sirens went nuts. Make sure all this is the same. Of Santa's throne room, a metal door slammed in their faces and sirens went nuts. Ooh-wee, that room noise. This entire place is gonna be shut down and you're... Let's see. Let's see. Check, check, 1, 2, check. Let's see. Check, check, 1, 2, check. What's up?
You're in the right chair now.
Yeah, I was in the leather chair. And I couldn't get comfy and it was really hot. And like it kept squeaking. And then I realized it's the wrong chair. It's been a disaster so far. Sunday? Having fun over here. It's just a fun party. All those fucking lights. Bye.
You want anything?
Nah. Yeah, I'm right. Thank you. Bye. Chapter 8. Within seconds of the alarm sounding, an army of Right? It's the chair. Within seconds of the alarm sounding, an army of elf security guards swarmed the ice tower like bitch-ass squash vine borers on the pumpkin crop of a dude who really, really needs those gourds to deal with the bullcrap of his daily life. Who did it? Who killed X8 Whizzle Tits? Who killed X8 WZLTETS? They demanded. He was only 25 years away from retirement. Dang, that kind of seems like a lot, Dweem murmured. An elf guard who made X8 WZLTETS look like S2 WZLTETS spun around angrily and grabbed Dweem by his third and fourth chins. What was that, fatty? I don't speak butter! Even though Baron was surrounded by monsters twice his size and half his age, he swung Grindex around and played a black metal riff intended to blast flame columns out of his best friend / guitar / spider monster's fangs. Instead, a couple of charcoal briquettes plopped out of Grindex's mouth like constipated dump pellets. Baron's eyes followed them as they sadly clattered to the ground. His eyes shot up to the elf guard shaking Dweem by the chins. Neither had even noticed Baron's attack. Everything began moving in slow motion and sounding like it was underwater. Baron's eyes drifted over the side of the ledge. It was the dad! It was the dad! Grindex's voice shouted. Baron shook his head and everything became normal speed / sound again. The elf guard lowered Dweem and turned his attention to Grindex. What did you just say? He asked Baron, since that made more sense than asking Guitar. I said the dad killed your friend, Baron replied, and the mom. They both high-fived over him as they went to town. And then they threw him over the ledge. I tried to help, but they said I would be next if I did anything. And look at me, I'm just an old dude. I can't do shit. And look at me, I'm just an old dude. I can't do shit. No worries, Pops, the elf reassured. Least you can rat with the best of them. He turned to his crew and announced, All right, boys, it was a jerk-ass mom and dad who killed our friendo. Let's find him and fuck him to justice. The backup elf guards took quick stock of the line and slow stock of the entire park. It's pretty much all moms or dads here. It's pretty much all moms and dads here. Everyone is either a mama, a papa, or a baby. Cool, well, just fuck anyone to justice who isn't a baby, the lead elf responded. They turned to the trio. How's about it, boys? Are you babies? Yes, Baron said sadly. We're babies. Dad? Dweem pleaded. No, not Dad. I'm a baby. We're all babies. Me too, Grindex added, even though he qualified under all, and by then the guards had already set off on their Christmas fuckquisition. Back at the base of the ice tower, Baron, Dweem, and Grindex walked in silence. All around them the bustling crowd laughed and chatted. It sounded like static. Dad or baby? Dweem eventually cautioned. You know it's Dad, Baron responded. You know it's Dad, Baron responded quietly but sternly. Don't test me. I've got about a baker's dozens of groundings locked and loaded. A dad baker's. Whew, Dweem sighed in relief. I'm glad you're not actually a baby. I was worried there for a bit. So why'd you tell those elf monsters you were? Because when you're an adult, sometimes you have to do and say shit that you don't want to do. Sometimes you have to do and say shit that you don't want to. Especially when someone else can fire you or beat your ass. You understand when you're How old are you anyway? I don't know. How can you tell? Well, how many birthdays have you had? Well, what's a birthday? They went back to walking in silence. How old are you, Dad? Dweem asked. Well, I don't know either. I'm like 400, Grindex said. Baron exhaled. He stopped and pulled out the Christmas Kingdom map. I need a drink, he grumbled. He scanned the map. Here we are. It came upon a midnight BBA pastry stout. Oops. Here we are. It came upon a midnight BBA pastry stout. And look, it even has a Santa icon over it. Maybe that extremely Santa-y Santa in the ice tower wasn't even the real one. Let's scope it out. And drink. Coasting on pump fumes, the trio sleepwalked. Coasting on pump fumes, the trio sleepwalked their way to the bar, which was housed in a log cabin made to look ancient. Burned into one of the building's exterior logs was 1819, a good year for Earth America, a good year for pastry stouts. Even though the health inspection certificate in the window said it was actually founded in 2017 by a trust fund kid with dirty blonde hair, little boobs protruding through a pastel green polo shirt, and a wife who resented and cheated on him with his buddy who had a salmon pink polo shirt and slightly hairier boobs. They busted inside and were greeted by a spindly, lily-white dweeb with a totally not racist because it's ironic holiday sweater featuring a generic wrapper with giant shades, gold teeth, and a speech bubble that said, "Barley wine wishes for my Christmastime bishes." She gave Baron an unimpressed look over the top of her thick, black, lensless frames. She gave Baron an unimpressed look over the top of her thick, black, lensless frames. "Tickets?" she asked through a thin-lipped sneer. Baron busted out his Christmas Kingdom entry tickets, which the hostess looked at disdainfully before purelling her hands, even though she hadn't touched anything. "I'm sorry, sir," the dweeb sighed, "but this is a ticketed glassware release. If you don't have a ticket, you can't get in." "We're not here for friggin' glasses. We just want a beer, and to talk to Santa if he's here." "Well, I don't know about Santa because I'm not 3, the hostess mocked, "but beer is at the bar, as it tends to be." Baron busted past her without saying thanks and maneuvered through the 900 people waiting in line to buy a $25 glass that they would sell online for $28.50. He briefly stopped and tried to play the one busted Miss Pac-Man machine that technically made the bar a barcade before finally making it to the empty bar. Behind it slumped a bartender who was rail thin but still somehow had a belly. He sported a Hawaiian shirt, a Slayer tattoo on his arm, a platinum blonde beard, thick black lensless frames, and a red beanie that he swore wasn't inspired by the life aquatic, but definitely was. Let me get this. A Slayer, spelled like Santa Slay, tattoo on his arm. "Yo," Baron signaled to him. "Can we get a couple of beers down here?" The host did a stupid little sideways smile and tilted his head condescendingly before continuing to wipe down a beer glass. "Yo," Baron said louder, "can we get some beers down here?" "Sorry, I thought you were calling yourselves ass clowns," the bartender said while nonchalantly walking over. I was like, yeah, okay. Baron already hated this dude. He took comfort in knowing that the bartender would be selling video games or stocking cereal if beer wasn't so trendy. But not much comfort because beer was trendy, and this dude probably got laid like crazy and made $300 a night in tips. "What'll it be?" the bartender asked as if he were crazy put out. Oh. "What'll it be?" the bartender asked as if he were crazy put out. Baron ignored his toot and checked out the chalkboard above the bar. It contained a dozen 15% ABV barrel-aged pastry stouts and a dozen 3% ABV battery acid sours, with absolutely nothing in between. "Oh, I'll take a quad-barrel Fraggle Stick Car gingerbread stout." "Double-barrel wooden pickle allspice stout for me," Grindex ordered. I guess I'll try the Don't Forget the Loofah crabapple sour," Dweem said hesitantly. Baron Grindex and the bartender shot unimpressed looks in his sweaty direction. "Dude, what the shit?" Baron snapped. "They're all the same price, so you gotta max out ABV. Plus a sour is gonna fuck with your heartburn," Grindex snapped. Plus how old are you, 14 or 40? The bartender scoffed. "Fucking dweem," Baron sighed while shaking his head. Just the 2 beers. The real ones. For the real dudes. Fucking dweem. 2 non-bullshit. How does this boy talk again? Let's see. Sorry. Alright. Plus, how old are you? 14 or 40? The bartender scoffed. 2 non-bullshit beers coming right up. Fucking crab apple sour. Really? The bartender muttered as he turned to the draft lines. Dweem anxiously stuck his fingernails in the cracks of the wooden bar and followed them back and forth while staring at an AC register in the ceiling until his peripheral vision went black. As Baron and Grundax sipped their beers, Baron began to hate everything a bit less, and Grundax stayed the same because he was fine to begin with. So, I gotta ask, are you Santa? Baron said to the bartender as the Fraggle Stick car did its thing. I'm a Santa, the bartender responded before fluffing his beard. What does a Santa even mean? I guess all I care about is whether you can grant wishes. Wish granting is definitely the Santa thing. Fart. And he's the one in the ice tower, huh? Maybe, maybe not. We're not allowed to say. It's kind of like how Musty Mouse of that other part can't tell you she's really a 20-year-old intern who does coke off the flaccid dick of Doofy Duck as soon as her shift is over. Keeps the illusion up for the kids, like this little / big guy. You want some milk or something, my dude? I'm okay, Dweem lied. His fingernails were beginning to ache. Right on. Anyway, so there are 13 creeps. Creeps, Baron interrupted. Sure, 13 creeps in Christmas Kingdom. Technically, I'm one of them, but that's only because I'm kind of a dick. Anyway, some of us chill in haunts, some of us chill in bars or shops, and one of us chills in the ice tower. The Santa, right? Baron tried. Can't say, man. I'll lose my gig. Just keep exploring the park and enjoy yourself. Right on. Thanks. No problem. No problem. You and you. Come on, dude. No problem. You and your guitar buddy are really tough and good at socializing. Baron noticed that his beer was empty, so he paid his tab with another stolen credit card and busted out of the bar. Thanks for coming in, guys, and have a great evening in Christmas Kingdom, the hostess said cheerfully as the trio headed out the door. You too, Baron goofed. He couldn't believe he didn't like her before. You're so funny, she giggled, which made her boobs wiggle like water mattresses. You should come back later and we can make out and you can flex your muscles all over me. We'll see, babe, Baron said coolly as he stumbled out of the bar. Dad? Dweem started when they were back outside and surrounded by the pump lights and sounds of the theme park. Yeah, son? You're a good son. Come here, cute booger. I think you're drunk. Oh, why? Just 'cause I'm pissing on this bush? Look, your uncle will piss too. We'll cross streams. See? It's normal. We're just a normal night. A normal family, I mean. Now let's go check out some Christmas haunted houses, you fat. Ooh-wee. Oh, man. All right. Staying pumped. Living the dream, boys. Just, chapter 8. Alright, yeah. I'm calling it. I'll come back tomorrow when I'm more pumped and haven't been driving and working all day. Because the next 2 chapters are fucking awesome. And I gotta do them justice. So I will see you months later when you actually watch this. Thank you.